everyone. Welcome to this first council meeting for year 2026. Can I begin by acknowledgement of country? We acknowledge the traditional owners of the land, the Noongar Wadandi people, and their continuing connection to the land, waters and community. We pay our respects to all members of the Aboriginal community and their culture, and to elders past, present and emerging. Welcome everyone, and to anyone who's joining us online and to those in the gallery. I have no real announcements. I'm going to let the wonderful things that happened this past week for the Mayor to talk about at our formal meeting, OCM, next week. Attendance, we have apologies from the Mayor, and we have Councillor Gassib online. And we have Councillor Amesh's apology. Thank you. Councillors, is there any declarations of interest? No? Thank you. We will proceed to the agenda. We begin with 10.2, Chief Executive Officer reports. We're going to 10.3. Thank you. 10.3.1. External member representation on the City of Bunbury committees and advisory groups for 2025-27. Councillors, is there any questions on this item? No questions? Mr. CEO?
Thank you, Chair. I've had some inquiries around the first committee, the Heritage Advisory Committee. So we have 9 nominations, and the terms of reference suggest 7 community members. If elected members wanted to appoint all 9 members, they could, and then what we could do is amend the terms of reference at a later date. So that's something for elected members to consider between now and next week. Obviously, we go through an advertising process, and we go through a selection process for in line with the terms of reference. If there was a desire to have all 9, which we wouldn't have an issue with, that's something that can be considered.
Thank you. Councillors, any questions on that comment, or are we happy to move on to the 10.3.2, Arts and Culture Strategy 2026 to 2030, adoptions? Any questions on this item? Councillor Quain.
I noticed the Bunbury show. I'm not sure whether that's going ahead, so just want to ask the question whether it's still sustainable, the Bunbury show.
Okay, Mr. CEO.
Thank you. I'm not. I might take that on notice, Councillor Quain. We're talking obviously here about the strategy, but it does show all the events and all the things that are arts related. But happy to take that on notice and provide response out of session.
Okay, Councillor Quain.
Thank you. I've got 2 more questions. Also, there's reference to SALT 2025 that might need to be amended to 26 maybe. Okay. And I couldn't find in the strategy any reference to the selection process of the future art gallery. Maybe you could let me know about that.
Mr. CEO, thank you.
Thank you. I think that first one, Chair, that we'll make that amendment, and I think the third point, I might ask the Director of Corporate and Community to make a comment.
Through the Chair, apologies, my speaker is not working. Through the Chair, yes, we will give you updates on the art gallery as we proceed with that project, and the strategy itself doesn't go into that detail at this stage. So I can give you a briefing separately if you like.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Quain. Any further questions on this item, councillors? No, thank you. We'll move on to 10.3.3, CEO Key Performance Indicator 4.1, Biennial Report on Financial Strategic Initiatives. Is there any questions on this item, councillors? Councillor Turner.
If I may, I'm not 100% sure if this is the correct one because I don't have the information in front of me. I thought I printed it out, but I don't. But there was US dollars in the writing it said US dollars and then beside it had Australian dollars. I'm just wondering why we've got the comparison with US dollars in one of the
Do
sections.
you know what page that's on?
Thank you, page
74.
Thank you.
74, Madam Chair.
74, thank you, councillor Gassett. And councillor Kozasek, thank you.
If I may, just in
You
the
on the
first
t-
one,
grants-
it said grants funding
From
Alcoa.
Alcoa, yeah. Mr. CEO?
So thank you, Chair. Thank you, Councillor Turner. So this relates to the grant funding from Alcoa, which was in US dollars, and so the approximate Australian equivalent is 790,000. So it reflects their contribution in grants funding was reflected in US dollars. Yeah.
Yeah, so the explanation is in the anticipated benefits and savings column,
So Chair, I
Yeah.
think the Director of Corporate Community might want to make a comment.
certainly.
Yes, through the chair. It is with the foundation, and the foundation's based in America. It's not the local Alcoa. It's the international version.
Thank you. Any further questions on this item, councillors?
Madam Chair.
Mr. Councillor Gassett?
Thank you, Madam Deputy Mayor. Just in regards to the table on page 73, where we have efficiency proposals, 18 savings of 259,000. Then further on, there's in the tables, in the extended tables, there's comments about applying the true cost of waste management, and then another one on BHRC. So some discussion there. I just wondering what we can tell the public on some of these.
Thank you. There's quite a lot happening on BHRC, so Mr. CEO, would you like to comment on that, please?
Thank you, Chair. So I understand the question is related to this, but you want, Councillor Gassett wants to know what we can tell the public in relation to, is that
Yeah,
what I'm...
correct.
In terms of BHRC, Councillor Gassett?
Yes, and maybe emphasise or explain to us what's going on. BHRC optimisation, for example, on page 80.
Yeah.
The other comment in that table, and there seems to be a lot of work that's been done in this table, which is great.
Yeah.
About applying the true cost of weight services. That can be just a general question.
Yeah.
And the third one was just on the confirming the $259,000
Sorry, Councillor Gassett.
post savings
Councillor
of
Gassett,
efficiency.
could we just deal with the question you've got on page 80, please, before we
Sure.
continue? Yeah.
So I think with BHRC, as Councillor Gassett and the rest of elected members will know, there's been a significant amount of work done on BHRC, and at the moment we're dealing with a number of matters, including FOGO processing, including the rebate that the state government has offered for us to restart FOGO processing. So happy, I think it's part of a broader conversation, Chair, and perhaps there will be a report coming to Council next week on that will need to be considered by Council, and I've discussed that with the Chair and the members of this Council that are on BHRC. But there's further discussions to have with BHRC that are probably better left to a strategic session, and then ultimately we'll bring them back into the Council.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. CEO. I was about to say, Councillor Gassett, that there will be a paper next at the OCM next Tuesday. We'll clarify some matters on BHRC. Thank you very much. And your other question, was there another one in there?
Yes, Madam Chair. Page 78, applying the true cost to waste services.
Yes, that's the
Potential,
second.
potential
Yes,
cost
yeah,
saving there.
yeah. And I think we're in the process of doing that, aren't we, at BHRC, Mr. CEO?
I think this was more in line with some of the other services that the city provides from a waste perspective, and it was an add-on from. Obviously, we did the commercial waste, but there is other aspects of waste that again are potentially going to be impacted with what the solution with BHRC is going forward. So again, I would suggest that we cover that in a strategic briefing as part of the discussion around where we're going with BHRC, but what then impact that has on the waste operations for the city.
Thank you. Councillor Gassett, were you referring just to BHRC, or were you talking about the cost of providing waste services generally within the city?
Well, on the table, Madam Chair, page 78, that's what I was referring to. I think it's not just the HRC.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Any further questions on this item, councillors? Councillor Brown?
Just on page 83, in relation to the landowner contact access improvements, can I just get a brief overview? Can I just get a brief overview of what that is?
Mr. CEO?
Thank you, Chair. Councillor Brown, I might take that on notice. I looked at this a little while ago, but I might take that on notice and then provide some information outside of this.
Thank you. Any further questions on this item, councillors? Councillor Brown?
There we go. Could someone, CX Portal, what is that?
So that is our customer portal. So that was the customer portal that was launched last year, where ratepayers can submit service requests through the customer portal, so that they're logged, and then responses will be generated and updated in the customer portal. So they'll get a reference number and get the information direct. So our encouragement is for our ratepayers to use the customer portal as the way of contacting the city. Obviously, people can still ring, but the customer portal is a really efficient way to log the request and to get the response.
Thank you. Any further questions, councillors, on 10.3.3? Thank you. Let's move on to 10.3.4, Financial Management Report for the period ended December 31st, 2025. Is there any questions on that item, councillors?
Madam Chair.
Councillor Gassett?
Madam Chair, I'm not sure. So I can't see anyone else putting their hands up. So
Yes, go
I'm not
ahead,
first, please
Councillor
let me know.
Gassett. Councillor, go ahead.
Okay. So page 100, and I raise this every time almost, the debt service cover ratio, where it should be, I know this is a guide, it should be greater than 2, and we are sitting at 1.23, so we don't measure up. And then the next page, 101, again, operating surplus ratio, we should be sitting above 1. We are at 0.15. But these things always concern me, Deputy Mayor. I'm just wondering how we're going to track with these things, what we should be doing.
Thank you, Mr. CEO.
Thank you, Chair. The ratios are as reported, so there's nothing I can do to amend those. I think, as elected members are aware, we do have a Vision Day where there will be further conversations in terms of the financial position of the city and where we're heading, and the setting of priorities will also require further consultation in terms of the financial position of the city. We've got, roughly $900 million worth of assets, and we've got, as the report says, if you take into account those reserves that are committed, we've got about $23 million worth of spare cash. So that's always going to be a challenge in a rate base of just over 32,000 residents and 16,000 homes in the city of Bunbury. We're doing a whole lot of work in terms of our asset management plans that will continue to bring back, and in fact the audit committee is looking at that. We know we've got a lot of major land transactions, and again at the Vision Day we'll give elected members an update on that and the projections for when those projects will come to fruition, and we'll start to see the increase in the rate base. So there's no magic wand here. There is you know, a long-term financial plan that gets amended and comes back to council. There's future projects that are going to impact both from a revenue and expense point of view, and there's a whole lot of discussion around priorities. So, you know, that's something as CEO that I welcome when we do the Vision Day, and then work through the feedback we've had from the community as part of our council plan. So the comments are noted.
Thank you, Mr. CEO. I've always thought that our finances, we've run a fairly tight ship, so thank you for that. Any further questions on that item, councillors? And the poor old mayor, he has to swivel round from one to the other sitting there. Any further questions on that item, councillors? Thank you. 10.3.5, schedule accounts for period 1st of December 2025 to 31st of December 2025. Any further questions, councillors? No? Thank you. We'll move on to 10.5.1, Southwest Sports Centre Electrification, Renewables and Efficiency Project. Any questions on this, councillors? Councillor Broad.
Thanks, Madam Chair. I'd like to know what assurance can officers provide that asset condition and infrastructure readiness at the Southwest Sports Centre have been sufficiently assessed to support early procurement and the long-term transition away from gas without unforeseen cost or delivery risks?
Thank you, Mr. CEO.
Thank you, Councillor Broad, for the question. So what you've been asked to support here is the city's contribution to a grant agreement and the early procurement, which will allow us to award the contract and to meet the milestones. If there's a broader question, is there a broader question around the whole of the Southwest Sports Centre as an asset? Because there is work being done on the Southwest Sports Centre and the total asset and all of the individual components. So as with a number of our major facilities, there is a greater emphasis on getting up-to-date asset management plans.
Yep.
And we've commissioned a group to work with us to do that. So the broader issue of our assets and when things need to be replaced individually versus the total asset. I think we've had a revaluation on the Southwest Sports Centre that's seen it being revalued up to 135 million at replacement cost.
Yep.
Right now. So what I want to do and make sure as CEO is that we've got adequate maintenance in place so that we're ensuring that the asset has the best chance of getting to its useful life.
Yep.
And in fact, beyond. So that's part of our challenge. Getting that picture for significant assets like the Southwest Sports Centre is important.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. CEO. Is there any further questions on this item, councillors? That being the case, I'll now close this meeting at 17:50 p.m. and thank you for your attendance. Thank you.